Welcome to the City of Miramar Business Connect, where we connect your business to what's important. My name is Johnny Douglas, and I am your host. Today, we are celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, as my guest today, I have a really good friend of mine, Mr. Michael Arquez. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here today, this afternoon with you. And we really thank you, for the opportunity to share a little bit of what we do today with the community and to the business owners of the community as well.
It is our pleasure to have you here, Mr. Arquez. Mr. Arquez happens to be the president and co-owner of Arquez and Hirsch Law Firm. They do a magnificent job helping businesses in the communities and individuals around the country. Before we get into that and hear more about this prestigious law firm, let me drop a nugget on you, something that you may not know and some things that you may know. National Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th through October 15th. The observation started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Lyndon B. Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15th and ending on October 15th. It was enacted into law on August 17, 1988, on the approval of Public Law 100-402. The day of September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries such as Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and in addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Day on September 16th and 18th, respectively. So just in case you didn't know, there's a tip for you on National Hispanic Heritage Month. And so now we are ready for the meat and potatoes of why we're here. We're here to talk to this distinguished young man, this friend of mine that I love so much, that what he's doing for the community and for people. I just wanted to get him on the podcast so you could get to know him and know what he does. And perhaps he can help you with any situations that you may have going on with your business or on a personal level. Would I be correct, Mr.
That's correct. That's correct. You got it very straight.
All right. So, Mr. Arquez, if you can, please give us an overview of your business, of your firm.
Okay, so we got our main office here in Davie, Florida. We have a satellite office in Fort Lauderdale as well. Among many of the areas of practice that we do, the primary ones that we do is business law, bankruptcy, and personal injury. And when I talk about business law tends to encompass a lot of areas of the law. So we help businesses literally from A to Z. We help them, with the formation, getting them started, getting them registered. Also, the trademarks, if they have any brandings that they want to register and protect, protecting those trademarks as well. The drafting and reviewing of contracts that they encounter every day. General counsel services and anything, that businesses encounter in their day-to-day business. When it comes to bankruptcy, we do the individual and the business matters as well. And for personal injuries, any type of accidents, slip and falls, and the negligent security. And with other areas that we do touch, like I said, it's the family law, the immigration when it comes to naturalization, which is the citizenship, the family-based petitions, the investor visas. We also do a little bit of a real estate and employment law. But as I mentioned, the three primary ones that we do handle is the personal injury, the business law, and the bankruptcy.
Awesome. So, Mr. Arquez, we know that there are a lot of law firms out there, and they do very well for the most part. What distinguishes your law firm from the others?
Okay, what I would say distinguishes us from the other law firms is that we treat every client as if they're part of our family. When we take a case in, we treat it as if we're protecting or we're defending a family member. And that being said, I feel that the service that we provide is very personalized. And you will have a team of attorneys on your case. What happens is with a lot of law firms out there, they're going to assign an attorney to your case, right? And if it's normally a large firm, there tends to be, which is normally, high turnovers. And with that comes different attorneys that are going to be handling your case. It may slow down the process because each attorney is going to have to basically catch up with what's happened in the case or what transpired in the case. And I think what happens as well is that that one attorney that they assign is only going to be focused on one area of law. So when we have a team of attorneys on your case, right, especially here in our firm, each attorney is well versed in different areas of the law. So for example, let's say if we're dealing with family law, sometimes family law encounters other areas of the law, such as bankruptcy, businesses. So I think one advantage that we have is that when we communicate it as a team and we work as a team towards your case, right, we're going to have an advantage over a lot of law firms out there because a lot of these, let me see how I can better explain it, is that, oh boy, going blank here, but oh my God. As you're well versed with different areas of the law, I want to say is that these attorneys that are just focused on one area, right? Yeah. They're going to know just a little bit of other areas, but it's not going to be enough to be dangerous, as I would say, you know, when it comes to handling that, you know, and I think in general, what we're trying to do is trying to be part of your solution to solve your problem and not be part of the problem as well, you know, so. Right. And also we try to, be as cost effective as well when it comes to that, with, a lot of people are scared to see attorneys. They think that, they're having to pay a lot of money, which, later I'll explain a little bit when it comes to that, which it does happen, so, but we're trying to be, treating everybody as part of a family here. And you're also going to be able to talk to an attorney. Another thing that I've noticed with other law firms is that you're probably going to deal with maybe a case manager or a paralegal, and you probably never get to even talk to an attorney. So here we try to make an emphasis that, you're going to have a direct communication with the attorney. You're going to be getting status updates with the attorney. You will talk to some of our assistants at times, because we're handling a lot of cases as well. But we make an emphasis that when you want to speak to an attorney, we're going to be there, and we want to make you part of the representation as well. You're going to be working with us hand in hand. Okay. And that's the best way I think to go about it, because I think the client is probably the one in a better position to know more of what the case is, and we want them to communicate everything to us as well. That way we can better represent them. So
I like a lot of the things you said. I love it. It really sticks out for me. One of them is how you distinguish yourself is that you're more personable, and your clients also become your kind of family. Or and they get a whole team of people working with. Right. I also like the other thing that you were saying. Some of the other elements that you offer is more of a personable touch. I know, like you said, some law firms you're speaking with computers. You're speaking with the secondhand person who may say what you want to say to the lawyer, but it may not come across as urgent as you want it to come across because you're not speaking it to it. Right. I also like what you said before when you said about walking clients through the process. One of the things that I love about our community here, especially in the city of Miramar, is our business owners. And our business owners, how they want to pursue their business, how they want to grow their business. But also one of the things that I noticed that most of them miss is the legalities, or I guess the legal parts of their business. Right. Okay, like what happens if it's a joint business venture? How do you handle that? If I want to start up a business, what do I need to do first legally to make sure that my business is legally bound? It's in compliance with everything. What are those things I need to do? And so, does your law firm offer that for businesses? Like if I wanted to start up a business, I come to you. Okay, on a legal aspect of my business, what do I need to do? What is my first step?
Yeah, and we do, and I especially take, pride in sitting down with these people because, they have something that they want to do. And I want to make sure that when they come to me, that they go about it the right way, and try to limit as much liability exposure that they may be exposed to, in this process of getting incorporated or becoming a business. It's, and I love hearing, you hear different, ideas of people, and what they want to do, and the goals that they have, so we just want to make sure that everybody, when they take this step, which is a big step, breaking that ice to decide, okay, I want to do my business, I want to start a business, they do it, they go about it the right way, and that's why we're here for that. I want to hear them out. What are the plans that they have, as they start, and where they see themselves 5 years from now. That way we can better gauge them, and we can guide them, from the beginning to the end, like I say, from the A to Z, basically, and I want to know, what type of structure that they're thinking about going about, if it's just going to be themselves, or if they got other, maybe other people that are going to be coming in business with them as well. And then based on that, we start gauging, what's the best formation that they, they're best to be equipped, either as a corporation or as a partnership, like you mentioned, like the joint venture partnerships, or an LLC, which is limited liability companies and such. So,
okay. Now, do you think that it would be a really high point for, say a business is, when you start a business, most people want to start by getting startup loans or money.
Right.
They go to banks. With your business plan, if you have your legal documents intact, is that favorable to a bank when they know that you have gone to a lawyer, you have sat down, they've helped you draw up your business plan, they help you, it's financially, it's legally sound and bound. Does that play a big impact to a lender?
I want to say it would help, in the sense that the first thing they're going to do is, of course, they're going to see if you're already organized or incorporated.
Right.
And when they go and check and see that, they're going to see first how long you've been in business, right? And they want to see that you got your federal tax ID, you got all that stuff in line, that you got your operating agreements in place. If it's an LLC or your article of organization, your bylaws, if you're a corporation, they want to make sure that that you're already established in that sense, ready to get started. And I think when they go and see that, they're going to see that you're a legit person, that you got a federal tax ID, which is the first thing they're going to check when you go open a bank account. First thing they're going to see is if you're already registered, with the state of Florida as a business, and they're going to check and see if you have your federal tax ID number as well, right? And the beauty of it is that when we help companies form, we put our office as a registered agent. By law, you got to have a registered agent office here in the state of Florida, a presence here in the state of Florida. So we put our firm here, our name, as a registered agent for the business. So they will see that there was a law firm most likely involved, in your formation. So the first things first, once you get organized, we get your papers in place, your documents in place. We go and get the federal tax ID number from the IRS. We put ourselves as the registered agent, and then once you go into the bank, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to check all that on their end from the state of Florida, and they'll see that all that's in place, and then you can go open your bank accounts and stuff like that. Now, some businesses, some of the requirements for some banks might be that you're going to have to be in business 2 years. So that's
right.
You're going to have to look into that. Each institution is going to be a little bit different, But from what I've noticed is the primary thing that they look at is if you've been in business for 2 years at least.
Okay. Wow, that's good. That's really good to know. I think that's one of the frustrations that businesses find, even when they're trying to go through starting their businesses. First of all, figuring this whole thing out. I got this great dream.
Right.
I know my craft very well. I want to open a business and help the community with my business, but I don't know how. And so that's awesome that your firm does that.
Right. And I want to point out, now that we talk about that, since it becomes difficult in the beginning, to get finances, to get you going. And what happens is some people, from what I've seen, that come here, they have gone the route of some type of loan sharks type of thing, and I've noticed that has gotten them in trouble because they put such a high interest rate and it's compounding daily, and they're forcing them to pay them like weekly or daily type of stuff. and they're just getting started, and they're already in the brinks of bankruptcy.
Right.
So I want to say, for people that are out there, be careful with those type of situations, and come to us before you engage anything like that, because we've seen it here. I tell them, let me see the contract, see what you signed, and most of the time it's a system where it basically leads to failure. You're never going to be able to really get you going, because everything that's basically coming in as revenue is going right out, and it's not allowing you to grow.
Wow.
So
there's a lot of, I guess we can say, scamming that goes on everywhere, and you got to be very, very aggressive in how you channel your actions and where you go to. Do homework. I talk to a lot of businesses. What homework have you done? What research have you done for what you're trying to do? Does it fit the plan? Does it fit the environment you're in? Is it what the community needs? Before you open up, find out all that information. We have how to do business in the city of Miramar booklets that goes through everything, how you want to start your business. And now we're going to ramp up even more visual effects to show people, and to click on this button if you want to start the business here. What does it cost to do this? And do I go business tax first? Do I do that? Because those things are very important. Right. One of the things that I find that is very important to make sure that business owners do show a difference between personal and business assets. Does that work the same way when it comes to legal processes? Should there be a will or something like that? Should it be personal and business, or does that combine together when you talk about something like that?
Okay. Legally, one of the things I would recommend, for business owners specifically, is to always try to maintain separate their personal assets and the business assets. And the reason why I say that is because there's a legal theory out there that's called piercing the corporate veil. And what that does is a company basically provides you a shield. It's it's a form of protection that makes that separation. Okay. Now, what happens is, with a piercing the corporate veil, there's certain factors, that an attorney would have to prove in court to be able to get that, right?
Okay.
And if attorney is successful in obtaining a piercing the corporate veil count in court, and they obtain a judgment against your business, right? Now what happens is, your personal assets are fair game.
Oh, wow.
They will be able to satisfy that judgment against your personal assets.
Oh, wow.
Right. So that's why I recommend always, one of my recommendations is always keep, everything separate. Whatever is your business, whatever is your personal is your personal. I know it's hard to do, especially when you're a small business. People get, the business credit cards, and they go out there and buy, personal stuff. That's a big no-no. So that's, commingling of the assets and the funds of the business. So try to maintain that separate. You can do it, but, do it in the form of the business is paying you a salary, right? You pay yourself, and then you go and do those personal expenses, but don't do it directly, from the business accounts for personal stuff, because that can get you in trouble.
Wow. And you know what? And I saw that happening with a certain friend of mine who had a business.
Right.
Going. He said, I can do it. I said, we can't. But
and that's why I recommend, people to go see an attorney. The attorney is going to be able to, give you these insights and stuff like that to get you out of trouble and limit that type of liability exposure. So there's several factors out there, not to go into details, but that's one of the factors, keeping everything, separate, and organize the formalities of the business. You want to keep your documents in place. If you're a corporation, you want to make sure you have your articles of incorporation, your bylaws in place, your minutes in place. There's much more formalities when it comes to that, And what I typically advise, somebody that's starting out, or if it's just them, start as an LLC. An LLC is just, it's going to be your articles of organization, right? Your operating agreement, and you're not going to have all these formalities that you're going to have to follow. LLCs tend to be more relaxed when it comes to that. Still maintain, the separations of the business assets and your personal stuff. You always got to maintain that separate. Never commingle that. Okay. But start off as an LLC, you're not going to have all those formalities that you're going to have to follow. Later on, if you continue growing and corporation is best for you, you can do the conversion later on. We can help you do the conversion to that. So it's not, if you start as an LLC, doesn't mean you have to stick as an LLC. You can always convert. And the LLC as well has it provides you the protections that the corporation provides, right? And it also helps you in the form of taxes, which is pass through, which is the way that a partnership operates. So you get basically the best of both worlds of the corporations and the partnership as well.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
So when is it a great idea for a business to have a law firm as a retainer? Do you do that? We do
the retainer. So the way it works, like I said, with business law, it encompasses a lot of different areas, right? So let's say like with formation will probably most likely be a fixed rate get you going, right?
Right.
Now, let's say if you're involved in litigation now, the way most law firms would operate when it comes to that is based on a retainer base. And what is retainer base? Retainer is basically you're putting a certain amount of money, in trust. It's not the attorney, it's still your money. It's in trust. And then as the attorney works on your case, the attorney will issue an invoice, and from there he will collect accordingly against that trust.
Got it.
Now, what happens is, in the end, you're going to have to continue. It determines how long the case is going to go.
Got it.
As that trust account diminishes, you're going to have to continue replenishing. Okay. Now, once the case finishes and there's a positive balance, what attorneys will usually do is refund whatever is held there. Okay. So when it comes to business laws, you're going to deal either with a flat fee, depending on what type of legal service you're going for, or retainer based. Okay. And contingency, you're not going to see that much unless if it's collection matters and such like that. That's different areas. Personal injuries, you're going to see contingency and stuff like that. But usually the three main areas of how an attorney gets paid is either through the flat rate, the retainer base, or the contingency base. Okay, now we've been working, we still haven't launched it yet, but we've been working basically on a subscription plan, which basically helps, like small firms always have an area there where they can just call and be like, listen, I want to know, before doing something, if it's right, what, if I'm going to encounter any type of legal issue down the line, so we're trying to basically do that, which is kind of like the way I want to put it is like how big companies have in-house counsel department or a legal department. It's the same way, but it's just like a general counsel service, for them. So we're working on that. We're thinking about doing like a three-tier subscription plan. And once we have that ready, I'll communicate it to you guys. That way you can spread it out to the community, and we can help out the business owners out there where it's fair game. They'll have the same legal access, as a big company would have out there as well.
That is I love what you just said. You know me in the business community. Right. I'm all for businesses. So, but that will be a great asset for our community of businesses, because like you said, what you have done then would take away the fear of the financial burden that they feel that they'll bear for having a lawyer to come in and do it. Right. So that's what that will do. But that is so awesome, because sometimes businesses, it doesn't require a law firm to do a whole lot of research or anything. It's just basic questions that they're asking. Sometimes I just need to just know where to start, Right.
It's just like a basic consultation. That's all.
Yes, it's a basic consultation, right?
And we will be there to do that. And I've been thinking about it with my co-partner as well, attorney Yannis Hirsch, and thinking about doing, if people are part of that subscription plan, also giving them some sort of discount, from our hourly rates as well, or from the retainer base, as well. So it'll be a win-win situation.
Awesome. I'm proposing this, throwing it out there. I would really like to see one day maybe that we have you come out to our business community and just do like a seminar or something like that, for those who have questions or anything like that, because I think once business owners get to know you, right, and they feel they can trust you,
Right.
then they'll be more eager to come and say, okay, well, he was with the city, he spoke, and okay, so therefore, yeah, okay, I'll go to this guy, I'll go to her,
Right. Right. And that's
So
what it is, it's based on relationship. And, thank God, we've had a good, reputation out there in the community of being very sincere with the people and honest and forthcoming, with everything. And we've had a lot of word of mouth, and that's one of the great things that, the referrals that we've gotten based on word of mouth, because of that, and like you said, everything is reputation. Everything is reputation, especially, when you deal with the legal industry, like before I was kind of hesitating because I don't want to bash, the industry.
Right.
There are a lot of things out there, and I wanted to be careful, of how
I get it.
how we distinguish ourselves from other law firms.
You notice how I'm gearing my questions. So try to keep them like okay. Right. Now,
But
I want to get to the personal injuries, slip and fall.
Right.
We find most business owners don't think about that. They don't think, and that's why they don't have that kind of, they may have it in their insurance or something like that.
Right.
But I'm wondering, what protection do they need for a slip and fall? Even if your relative come and they slip and fall, on a personal level, how do you guys handle a slip and fall for a client that comes to you?
Okay, now is it on the plaintiff side?
It's on the great question.
Yeah, because
it's on the plaintiff's property.
Okay, on the plaintiff's, we'll say the defendant's property.
Defendant's right.
So in this case, we will be defending, I guess, the company and such. But normally the way that works is it will be a part of your general liability, I would say.
Okay.
Your policy, okay, and that all depends. I'm not an expert in the insurance area, but normally, let's say when I'm in the plaintiff side and it's a commercial policy of general liability, it tends to be like $1 million policy or so that they will require most likely. So what happens is if you're a business owner, okay, and you had a slip and fall on your premises, you have to take a look into your policy. One of them may be that you have to disclose it right away as soon as possible to your carrier, which is the one that basically underwrites the policy, okay? And what's going to happen is, from my knowledge on the other side, when we do the personal injury, is that the person's going to get treatment and such, and if there's no negotiation between the plaintiff side, which is the person that had the slip and fall, right, and your carrier, then you may have a lawsuit, okay? The lawsuit is going to be against the carrier, okay, and the carrier most likely is going to have to afford a defense counsel as well, okay. Now it depends how serious the injuries are, okay. If we're talking about an injury now that it's above your policy limits, okay, now they may want to bring you in as well. Okay.
Right.
So that excess right there is where you may want to, see if you can get any type of additional coverage or something, so where you don't get, directly affected or exposed as well. Okay. So you want to make sure as well, that your premises are always, clean and in order, for invitees, because the plaintiff that comes in is going to be considered an invitee. So you want to make sure that the conditions are safe and such. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
There's a lot out. There's a lot out there. And that's why I say, come see us, because every situation is different. When it comes to the law, that's the beauty of law. Everything is different. Every case is different that we've encountered. Sometimes it may look similar, but there's always that a little fine detail that may be different that can change everything. So that's why I tell them, come in, let's have a consultation, tell us what happened, see how we can go about it. And we'll go from there.
We have in our referral group, Tamika Beckham, who is a storyteller.
Right.
And I guess right now I'm bringing this up because I want to ask you this question: what made you get into law? What is your story behind that? Like, what sprung that?
Right. What got me into law was, I want to say, since I was a little bit background on me. Since I was young, my dad's always been an entrepreneur, into business. You know, he studied law, but he didn't finish, and he decided to go the route of the business entrepreneurship route. And ever since I was little, he always had me involved, always took me along with him, you know, always exposed me, you know, to the business world. And I think what really got me to want to go to law school and learn the other side, which is the legal side. And I felt that would make me a more well-rounded attorney, knowing both sides of the aisle, basically. And I think that's helped me, because when clients have come to me, you know, I understand. I've been in their shoes. You know, I understand their position, you know, and now I can help them, you know, with the legal base and the legal knowledge that I have now, you know, as well. So I want to say that I thought that, you know, it would help me, you know, understand more by, you know, going to the field of law, specifically, you know, if I went into business, because like you said, you know, a law firm runs as a business, you know, and I think that, you know, it has helped us to get established as well and get out there, you know, and apply the knowledge as well to ourselves, you know. So I love, you know, when the clients come and I can be able to help them, you know, with the legal knowledge and the legal basis, you know, to make sure to steer them clear, you know, from any liabilities that they can be going to. Because what happens is business owners, and I see it with my father as well, you know, they're on the go, you know, and when they're on the go, they're not thinking of the liabilities that can come later on.
Right.
You know, so I try to tell them, you know, sometimes you got to slow down. You know, I know things, you know, you're trying to push, you know, to get, you know, their accomplishments, you know,
right.
You know, but at the same time, when you're moving and you're not thinking, you know, of every move that you're making can get you in trouble.
Right.
You know, and that's why we're here, you know, to make sure that, you know, you can continue that path, but as you're going, you know, that we're guiding you and making sure that, you know, we're limiting any liability exposure as you go through this whole process and this venture that you're going through.
Wow. Okay, wonderful. I love it. Love it. Okay. And I see and I see that in your mannerisms. I see that even when we're in the referral group, how you're just so polite. I'm like, when I'm in the referral group, I'm like, God, he is so polite. I mean, you know, you take your time, great listener, you listen very well, you know, and then you respond. So I like that. And I thought, man, I said, okay, he's going to be really good at what he does. He's good at what he does, because I can tell because of your mannerisms.
Right. And you gotta have, I think, you know, specifically, you know, what makes you a good attorney, I want to say, you know, is having the patience, you know, to listen to people out, you know, what it is that they want to do. You know, sometimes, you know, attorneys have a hard time, you know, listening, you know, and I think that's one of the important things to do, to be able to listen, you know, to the community, listen to the client, you know, listen to what is it they want to do. And then based on that, see how you can help them, see how you can steer them, you know, the right way, the right path, you know. So that's one thing, you know, that I think that's something that all of attorneys, you know, we all got to work on, to make sure, you know, that we listen first before, you know, talking or, you know, or going on about, you know, things, you know. So
and that's, I guess that's where the being personable comes in. That's where that comes in.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Okay, great. Okay, so now my another topic here, because we're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month. Right. I asked you this question. What does that mean to you? What is that? How is the pride for your heritage? What is the pride you have for that? What does that mean for you? You know, especially in America, you know? Right. And I see, you know, with, you know, from both sides, from my father and my mother, you know, they both, you know, migrated to the United States, you know, and I seen it, you know, with a lot of colleagues of mine as well. And when their parents came here, you know, they didn't have the opportunity as we had. You know, they got here and they had to, from the get-go, start working, you know, no time for, you know, going to school or getting educated. You know, so now, you know, I feel very blessed, you know, to have had that opportunity, you know, at least to go to law school. You know, I mean, here in the United States, you know, it's a prestige, you know, to go to law school, you know, and then later on put in your law firm, you know, because the normal route is basically, you know, go to law school and go to work for somebody. Right. You know, and as being a Hispanic, you know, it's been great, you know, and it's truly a blessing,
to be able to have your own law firm and be able to give back and help the community as well. Especially the Hispanic community out there, they need a lot of help. A lot of attorneys, I guess they feel more comfortable, when they deal, I guess, with Hispanic an attorney, because they can communicate with them more freely and open.
Right.
And I've noticed that has helped a lot, when it comes to that. They got more of a, I don't know if it's the relationship, but they feel more comfortable, when it comes to opening up with you and such, so it does help, to know, Spanish, to be able to help the community, I would say, for sure.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's one of the things I love about moving even to South Florida, because
Right.
it had that the welcome mat laid out.
Right. Right.
For everyone. And coming from up north here, I saw that cultural difference.
Right.
Which was very, very impressive to me.
Right. Right. And it's a big melting pot, and
yeah.
What's beautiful about the Hispanic, community is that, it's they're different little cultures, from depending what country,
Right.
Cubans have their ways, the Colombians have their way, even in the form of speaking and stuff like that, and it's funny because, sometimes we may have a way of saying something,
right,
and if they're from a different country, they might not catch it, but they have a different way of saying it.
Right.
So just in that aspect, it's very unique, and I love it, because when I talk to, from people from different countries, this was prior to me also, before going to law school, becoming an attorney, when I was with my father, we were dealing with a lot of international clients and stuff like that, so I got exposed to that a lot from people from South America, from the Caribbean,
right.
Notice, they had a different dialect,
right,
different way, of speaking and such, even a little bit, different culture, but, it's very interesting.
Right, it is.
How each one has their, different ways and stuff.
Yeah, I love it, because the fact, although there are differences there, we all want the same thing.
Yes.
We all strive for the same thing, which makes it such a great place, because it's here for everybody. It is. It really, really is. It really is. Just like you said before, put the work in, put the time in, and don't give up.
Exactly. And what I see is, a lot of people that come from overseas, when they come to the US, they come with a certain type of hunger, in the sense of, getting it done,
Right.
What I notice is, specifically, and I try to make people understand here in the US is that, in Latin America, when you're born in a certain social class, for you to be able to jump to other social class, it's impossible.
Wow.
Really impossible. It's just the system, the way it is. And what happens is these people, when they come here, they see the opportunity. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So you see them really working tough and hard. And I saw it with my parents. And I see it now. Like I was saying, I feel very blessed. That my parents were the ones to be able to go through that. And get established here in the U.S. through hard work and grit, like they say. To at least open that path for me, to be able to go to school and take advantage, of what they weren't able to do, because they had to get here and basically were the first ones, in the family, basically to try to make it happen, and survive.
Exactly. My father said one of the things my father said to me before he passed away, which was wonderful, and I'll never forget it.
Right.
Told me, he says one of his greatest pleasures was to make sure that he could give me what I needed.
Right.
But he also said, but Dad, I said, you hardly ever have fun. He says, that's not afforded to me because I want it for you.
Right.
So it's kind of like our parents and their grandparents and their parents. It's not, they weren't here to have fun. They weren't here to slough off. Not that we're doing that, but that wasn't afforded to them.
Right.
What was afforded to them was to come here and take advantage of what was here for them.
Right.
So that their kids can have the opportunity to vacation, to go on,
right.
With vacation, I don't have time vacation.
Right. There's no time, right?
You mean vacation. I was glad to hear you say that, because that's the similarities of all of us who are, have migrated here, and who are, have parents who have migrated here. We've all had that same story.
Right.
Very
Exactly.
similar.
Exactly. And
So now
literally it's
let's
a land of opportunity, like
It is.
there's no way, and the only way you can really understand it, it is going to Latin America to see how people live, and they see the struggle, and how everything is just difficult to get, things here in the United States so simple to get done, over there in those countries take forever. It's just the way the system is. Very simple example, to incorporate here in the US, very fast. You can get them very fast. It can be done, in a couple of days. In Latin America, good luck. It's gonna take more than a month, maybe. It's a longer process. So everything is just more difficult to get done in Latin America. So that's why I say, when you see them coming here, they see the opportunity and how fast they can run with it.
Right.
That's why we try to step in and try to help them, because it can get them in trouble as well, because they're moving fast.
Slow down.
Make sure, right, to slow down, and we've represented a lot of business people from overseas that come here, and they've encountered legal problems, and I've told them, I wish you guys would have came to us prior, so we could have helped you at least to show you, how the system works here, the legal system and stuff like that, to make sure, because everything's different from Latin America compared to here, it's a different system, so that's why we're here to help them and to understand, everybody in the community, but as well the especially like those clients that we have from overseas that come here, make sure that that they're protected, that they know, the legal ways to go about things, and limit the exposure that they may be exposing themselves to. So,
wow, interesting, very, very interesting. I'm loving this conversation. We've been way overdue. Well, a couple more questions for you, and I know you got to get to work. One is, what is a general advice you would give to people in the community?
A general advice I would give to people in the community is, don't be afraid to go see an attorney. I know, like we were talking about, a lot of people think, when I go see an attorney, it's going to cost me a lot of money, And what I want to tell them is that it's going to be much cheaper before or now than later on.
Right.
I said, if you go see them before you do anything, the attorney is going to be able to see it from a different lens, in the lens of trying to see the liability you may be exposing yourself to and limiting that exposure of the liability. I see it day in day, that when they come to us already with a full-blown litigation, that's when it starts getting costly. Even though we always, we work with the client to be cost efficient, but it can get costly. Litigation can get very costly, and that's when, settlement discussions come into play. How strong are the cases? We start evaluating the cases, how strong the case is, how weak the case is, So I want to say, definitely go see an attorney. If a consultation, depending what area of the law it is. Sometimes a consultation can be free.
Right.
Consultation is free. Bankruptcy consultations are free. Okay. Business consultations, some of them may, some attorneys out there may, charge you for it, or family consultation, they may charge you for it as well, but it's going to be a lot cheaper, knowing before you do anything, than just going for it, whatever it is that you're going to do, and then finding yourself in a jam or a legal, problem that's going to cost you, where the attorney's going to have to come in and then try to fix whatever problem.
Right, exactly. A friend of mine told me a long time ago, he says, I was talking about lawyers too. I was one of those people who says they cost too much money.
Right.
And he says, you have homeowners insurance, right? I said, yes. He says, when was your last claim you filed? I said, I've never filed one. How long have you had it? I said, for almost 15 years. He said, 15 years you're paying into something in case something happens.
Right.
Yeah. He said, yeah.
Yep.
And he says, so you're protecting your assets, right? He says, if you start a business, isn't that an asset?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, why are you not protecting that asset? You're protecting an asset that you never filed a claim on, but yet you're not going to protect this asset here. He says, I don't understand that. He says, they're both valuable. They both are assets. And he brought that to my attention. I was like, wow. He says, It's a no-brainer. He says,
Yep.
you're protecting an asset.
Yep.
Your business is your sweat and tears. It's
Right.
your labor. It's your time. It's your money.
Yeah.
You know, you put
Yeah.
you put family time on hold, family vacations on hold. You got an education. You did all of that for your business. That's an asset.
Right. Right.
Why are you not protecting that asset?
Exactly. And you have to protect it, you know, and the thing is with, you know, when it comes to business, there's different angles that can come at you, you know, when it comes to the law. Like you said, a simple slip and fall. You have a situation there. You might have issues maybe with your own employees.
Right.
You know, that's another issue that you got to look at, you know. Right. So, I mean, there's different angles, you know, where an attorney is going to be able to assess, you know, those type of exposures to liability you may have and then try to limit those exposures. You know, a lot of the things that we've seen, because we do a little bit of employment law, is business owners putting people as independent contractors when they're really a W-2 employee, right? You know, and then what happens is when they go through the, you know, the legal factors, it tends to be looking more as an employee versus an independent contractor, you know, and now they see themselves, you know, in a situation where now they got to go back, you know, and pay the regular, you know, whatever the regular rates are by law and their own times and stuff like that. So you definitely want to make sure, you know, and to be able to understand that, you know, an attorney will be able to go through these factors to make sure, you know, what it is that you're dealing with. You know, if you're dealing with independent contractor, make sure you have your independent contractor agreements in place and such, you know, and all that. You know, if with your employees, you probably have your employment contracts, right? Well, you know, so definitely a lot of things to look at. You know, when you're dealing with a business, you're dealing with a lot of things all at the same time. You know, and you want to make sure that everything's, you know, operating, you know, smoothly in sequence. Yeah. Because anything that, you know, falls out of place can set you back a lot. You know, anything. Yes. And that's why I tell a lot of people, you know, it's going to be cheaper now than later, because what happens is you're going to be advancing, and the moment you hit a legal jam, that can be a big setback for your business. Right. You know, and that's what we're trying to basically limit, you know, and try to that type of exposure that can get you in trouble later on. You know, so awesome. Definitely see an attorney or have an attorney, you know. Yes. Either our office or another office, but at least, you know, go see an attorney before you do anything for sure. You know, and I can't wait, you know, for us to launch, you know, the subscription base. So yes, that is so, you know, the general counsel services, you know, so where they can reach out to us, you know, before they do anything. We're there to, you know, legally guide them and help them and be there. Absolutely. That is going to be huge. That is going to be huge. Thank you so much for that. No, definitely. Well, I know you have to go. You are a busy attorney. I just love and enjoy talking with you. But I know you got to go. So, but thank you so much for sharing your time, your knowledge, and your point of view, and the importance of business owners, and not only just business owners, but personal, right. And your personal property, to get in contact with the lawyer before you make decisions that are life-changing. Right. Get in contact with the lawyer to make sure. One thing, Johnny, before we go, also that I want to mention, companies or business owners that have created a brand out there in the community, okay? And like you said, that's cost time, you know, money, sweat and tears. You know, register that, trademark that brand. You know, people have to realize that has been, once you get a brand out there and it's been trademarked and registered, that becomes an intangible asset of the company. So, okay, so that has created worth, that has a dollar worth, you know. So let's say if later on you decide to sell your company, you know, that can be accounted for. That has, or if you want to license out, that trademark, okay, and not just registering it, okay, also be willing to protect it in case somebody infringes on it or is using it out there without your permission or so. So we're there to also help with that as well, you know, registering and protecting your brands as well. Okay. Awesome. That's very, very good. Yeah, matter of fact, my son started his business. He just got he and his partner just got their name brand and everything branded, and it's legal and it's filed and it's on record. He says, no, it's legit, Dad. This is our legal, this is our logo, it's ours. We own it. I was like,
Great. Okay, so awesome. So yeah, I know you're talking about. Very, very
It's
good.
beautiful. They did it right.
Yeah.
To protect, yeah, you got to protect your brand, and it's something, that a lot of small businesses have created a brand or they have a logo and such, and they haven't protected it. They just have
And
the common law protection is what they call.
right. That's a great point too, because you know how much time you spend on marketing for your brand,
Right.
and and all of a sudden it's not yours,
Right.
but all the marketing you've done, all the cards you put out, everything you've done was with that brand, that logo.
Exactly. And
And if it's not,
and the beautiful thing with trademarks is that even if it sounds similar or looks alike, you're still protected. That's the beautiful because there's a lot of clever people out there.
Right, exactly.
They try to get around it, but you are protected. And that's why I say, even though you register it, be willing to protect your brand, because that costs you money. You want to make sure that you don't have an issue later on of some type of waiver, that you knew somebody else was using, but you didn't do anything about it.
Exactly.
So
example, Walmart. Right. Yeah. Example, Walmart, Walgreens.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There was an issue going back now, specifically, we know with Hispanic month.
Right.
Google, that was basically the trademark problem that they had as well. Where somebody came up with a name that was similar to Google, and luckily they didn't protect their brand. They filed suit and they went and protected. So that's what I say. Even though you were successful in registering your trademark, be willing to protect it.
Right.
You got to be willing to protect it as well.
That's a great advice and golden nugget for any business. I appreciate that. Again, I really appreciate you being on our show today, our podcast today. Great interview, and I'm hoping that our listening audience out there know how to get in contact with you. I see your name there, the law firm there, and I see your number. I'm going to say it out loud in case those on Spotify can't see it. It's 954-237-6060. If you want to email Mr. Arquez, you can email him at A as in Apple, A as in Harry, L as in Larry, A as in Apple, W as in wagon.co. So that's ahlaw.co.
Right.
All right.
Please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy, to accommodate you. If you cannot come in person, we've done it as well through Zoom consultations virtually. So we will accommodate you in any way that's possible. Okay.
Perfect.
There's no excuse. Go see an attorney.
No excuse. Right. So for all our listening audience out there, remember that you can find out everything that's going on in the city of Miramar. We are a busy city. We have a lot of events going on. We have a lot of webinars, podcasts going on, emergency information that is available for you, financial aid opportunities that are available for you. And you can find it all on our Business Pulse newsletter. Just log on to our website, www.miramarfl.gov for the Business Pulse magazine /Business Pulse. And again, Mr. Arquez, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure, Johnny. And I thank you, for the opportunity to be able to speak out to the community and all the business owners out there as well. And please know we're here to help. We're here to help you guys. Okay.
And everybody out there, remember, stay safe, but most importantly, stay connected.